money being given to laggards. We're against hegemony. We're not against money being given to laggards. Let me remind you. I do understand that fiscal contribution alone cannot, determine how we should be moving forward. India's democracy should be built, we believe, as Bharat Rashtra Samiti, on progress, on governance and economic contribution, and not just population. Population alone cannot be the criteria for delimitation. A fair system should reward progress and encourage development. In fact, I'd go one step forward. It should empower those who are driving the growth, not silence them. If 19% of South of India, the southern Indian states, are contributing to 36% of India's GDP, will you cut down on representation and, dissent, cut down on the dissent and cut down on the dissenting voices? Is that the strategy of Government of India? Let me also add, there have been past experiences which have been bitter. So while Government of India, while the Union Home Minister says it would be pro rata, there would not be any reduction in seats in South of India, let me say one thing. No reduction in South of India, Southern Indian seats does not mean no increase in North Indian seats. Let me remind you that. There may not be a reduction in South India, but if there is disproportionate increase in North Indian seats, which again will mean that essentially 4 or 5 states will determine the future of this country, future politics, future policies, future fiscal devolutions, everything, future life of a citizen of India will be determined by 4 or 5 states, and that is certainly not acceptable. And why do we not have enough confidence in union government when it says pro rata? Because we've had bitter experiences. 11 years ago, when Telangana was formed as a state, we were promised by Indian Parliament that delimitation will happen within the state of Telangana. The number of assembly seats would increase from 119 to 153. But has it happened in 11 years? Despite it being an enactment of the Parliament? No. Why? Because it does not suit the BJP. It does not suit the union government. Where it suited them, they've done it. It suited them in J&K. It suited them in Assam. So they've done it there. But it doesn't suit them in Telangana and Andhra. So they don't do it here. That is exactly what we are apprehensive of. Let me also remind you, never in the history have there been such high proportion of cesses that have been added, which are depriving the states of their rightful share in devolution. States are, let me remind you again what I've heard in that room from one of the chief ministers, I think it is Kerala chief minister, who said, federalism is not a gift, it is our right as a state. India is a federal republic. Federalism is enshrined in constitution in letter and spirit. That's exactly what we are demanding. We are demanding our rights. So what are we proposing as Bharat Rashtra Samiti? What did we propose in the meeting? We proposed 2-3 things. Why is delimitation being done at all? Delimitation is being done because India is a representative democracy. People need voices. Population has increased. So therefore, number of seats has to increase. Yes. But why don't we do this? Normally all of you know, all the media people also know. A first point of call for a citizen when there is a problem is possibly the local MLA, if not the local corporator or local sarpanch. It could be the local assembly constituency representative. So what we are proposing is, I think union government should go ahead and increase the number of assembly seats within a specific state so that wherever there is an increase in population, all those, challenges with respect to representation, with respect to better administration, decentralization, etc. can be tackled. You know why? Because number of MLAs being altered within a state does not tip the federal balance. But if you start tinkering with the number of MPs who are representing in parliament, that will certainly disturb the federal balance. MLAs regularly take care of policies at the state level. But MPs, members of parliament, take care of policy at the national level. So therefore, maybe either keeping the number of MPs the same and increasing the number of MLAs so that decentralization can be a via media kind of a solution to delimitation. That's one approach we are proposing. Or secondly, if you are increasing the number, if you are determined to increase the number of seats, then what we are proposing is maybe take the national average growth rate or maintain the same proportion for every state. Because you see, Government of India itself, through 42nd Amendment of the Constitution and back in 1976, had brought in, population control as a measure and suspended further delimitation for 25 years. In 2001 again, Atal Bihari Vajpayee government suspended it by 84th Amendment for another 25 years. So for 50 years, we have not increased number of seats. Now, if we are going to increase, then it has to be in same proportion across the country. It cannot be impacting those states that have done economically, educationally, progressively, adversely. And we would also like to propose, this could sound a bit radical. Population alone cannot be the criteria. What if we start asking, 19% of South India contributes to 36% of GDP. So can the South have 36% representation in Parliament? That could be a radical solution. Why population alone should be the criterion for delimitation? Why not fiscal contribution? Why not development? Why not progress? So we are certainly keen to see what the government of India would eventually say, but all in all I would say is, once again, before I sum up, India has just completed 75 years of existence. Our national leadership should ideally strive to heal old wounds, not create new ones, not unnecessarily create raptures and ruptures in this Indian polity, which is already very diverse, very heterogeneous. As a renowned scholar and statesman once said, the federal structure of India must ensure that no state, however small or large, feels neglected in governments. You could be Manipur, you could be Uttar Pradesh. You should not feel neglected, or you should not feel left out. That's exactly what we are demanding. And once again, I'd like to repeat, if India truly has to become a superpower by 2047, the order of the day is cooperative federalism, not coercive federalism. Jai Telangana, Jai Hind. Thank you. నేనేం చెప్పాను అంటే భారతదేశంలో 1976లో ఆనాటి అప్పటి ప్రభుత్వం 42వ రాజ్యాంగ అధికరణం ద్వారా సవరణ ద్వారా వారు ఆనాడు నంబర్ ఆఫ్ సీట్స్ మీద రెస్ట్రిక్షన్ పెట్టారు. ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళీ ఏ రాష్ట్రాలైతే జనాభా నియంత్రణ పాటించాయో, కుటుంబ నియంత్రణ పాటించాయో వాటిని పనిష్ చేసే విధంగా వ్యవహారం చేస్తామంటే ఇది సరికాదు, ఇది మంచిది కాదు, దేశానికి మంచిది కాదు. అందుకే ఇతర ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ కూడా తీసుకోండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేను అన్నట్టు జీడిపి కాంట్రిబ్యూషన్ తీసుకోండి. తెలంగాణ ఓన్లీ 2.8% పాపులేషన్ భారతదేశంలో, కానీ జీడిపి పరంగా చూస్తే మన కాంట్రిబ్యూషన్ 5.1, 5.2%. సో మరి ఆ లెక్కన తీసుకుంటే సౌత్ ఇండియా మొత్తం కలిపి 36% జీడిపి కాంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేస్తుంది భారతదేశంలో. సో ఆ రకన ప్రపోర్షనేట్ గా చూస్తారా? కేవలం జనాభాను ఎట్లా తీసుకుంటారు? ఏ రాష్ట్రాలైతే కుటుంబ నియంత్రణ పాటించలేదో, భారతదేశ హితాన్ని అనుసరించి పనిచేయలేదో వాళ్ళకెట్లా వాయిస్ ఇస్తారని అడుగుతున్నాం. థ్యాంక్ యూ. Unfortunately, I think each of us is living in our own bubbles. I think we need to meet more often. I'm delighted that Mr. Stalin took the lead today and has invited us. Hopefully, we'll have many more such events where we can work together. See, ultimately, like I said, not this meeting, I'm sure BJP will call it anti-India and all that. I know. All I'm saying is we're Indians first. We love our country. So if our country has to really progress, I think performing states, irrespective of what kind of discrimination is being met out to them, we have to fight together. We'll raise our voice whenever and wherever needed, and we'll continue to raise our voice in Parliament, State Assembly, multiple forums. But I have to tell you, I've never seen a bigger press conference than this. I already feel like a rock star today, but thank you. అది ఎక్కడ జరుగుతుందో చూద్దాం, ఢిల్లీలోనా హైదరాబాద్లోనా చూద్దాం. Heterogeneous. As a renowned scholar and